Need high-quality video to promote your event, business, or band? We can help.
We're Pixel Pond, a video production team based in the Pacific Northwest, providing high-quality content to clients across the U.S. and Canada.
Whether you want coverage of your live event to promote for next year, or need a camera and a camera operator for your next big project, we can accommodate projects of all sizes.
Your story is important. Visit pixelpondllc.com or send an email to info@pixelpondllc.com to get started today. We can't wait to work with you.
Parental warning. This podcast contains adult content. It's not explicit, but you might not want your kids asking later why you were laughing, so this is your heads up. Please podcast responsibly.
This time on Gamers Week podcast. A new report says that 77% of U.S. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth players were age 30 or older, highlighting Square Enix's struggle to get young people to care about JRPG series again. So they're trying to capture Gen Alpha. I'm going to speak in their language. Final Fantasy and Square Enix used to be goated, but now it's cooked. They were looking for it to be Ohio, but now it's Skibbity Toilet.
I don't think anybody's saying Skibbity Toilet anymore.
That was painful, I'm not going to lie.
Well, and you know what? It would have been great is if they bridged the gap between the previous Final Fantasy and this one. So it could be Final Fantasy 6, 7.
Oh, my God. Duck says Cloud lost all his riz, yo. For real, on God. Say less. Puzzle's like, no, please don't. No, Ryan.
Yeah. I think if you get enough of them with some butter, they're delicious.
What the
So if I go to a tanning bed, if I...
Yeah.
That was good, man. I tell you what.
You know what, boys? You've said a lot of things on this show that I can't include. But I think this takes the cake. Congratulations. Achievement unlocked. This is by far the top.
Move over, Red Lobster. Are we ready to go on that note?
I don't even know how to. I'll figure something out.
All right, here we go.
Oh,
there it is.
There's our beautiful faces.
Here we are.
So, how many convictions did you get in Florida?
I was going for the record.
The nudity public nudity conviction is a given, but like what else?
Right. Well, it's funny that you say that. I was listening to last week's episode. I got inspired. So we're going to have a little bit of fun with that tonight.
Interesting.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
He got convicted for straight up jorking it. Jorking.
What's the problem with those nude beaches?
So we are already starting the stream off a lot better than we did last week because there are 0 drop frames and it is smooth as butter.
No.
With that note, let's go ahead and kick things off here. All right. Well, welcome to Gamers Week podcast. Like the name says, we analyze the best, the worst, and the weirdest headlines in the past week in the video game industry. This is episode 205, and today is Wednesday, March 25th, 2026. I am Ryan, aka Retro Game Brews, and I will be your host for this evening, but I'm not alone. I've got 2 fantastic co-hosts with me. First up is a woman who has recently received the title of persona non grata when it comes to our GWP Twitter account. Blue, how are you doing today?
Good. What did I do?
Elaborate?
You said, why can't I see anything in the Twitter?
Oh, right. Twitter revamped its DMs so they're not encrypted, which they never were, but now it's like making sure that you can't see anything because I didn't go through like the encryption setup process. And I'm good. I promise.
It's really me, I swear.
I swear.
And next up, a gentleman who has recently been taking on the role of Dean of the Scatological College of the South Harmon Institute of Technology. Donnie G, how you doing today?
I love that movie. Ask me about my wiener. It really is a classic of American cinema.
Unaccepted as a classic.
It's up there with Rosebud, Gone with the Wind, Fletch, and
Fletch as well. We're bringing Fletch into it. Okay. Well, do you remember the days of having to walk over to your TV to turn the volume up because Double Dare was on? Well, if so, you probably have back pain now. Your comfort deserves to evolve right along with you. That's why Blacklight is not just creating gaming chairs, they're building healthier, freer, and more inspired play, work, and creation. For listeners of the show, Blacklight is offering a 15% discount using coupon code GWP26. Visit blacklight.com/gamersweekpodcasts or follow the link in the show notes.
I love Double Dare.
Everyone loves Double Dare.
I'd have given both my sisters to get on Double Dare back in the day.
So they did a live, they did a tour for Double Dare, and one of them is they came to Rochester when I was a kid. So they had it at the Eastman Theater, and I tried so hard to get on stage. Like, I was so disappointed when it didn't happen. You know, I was just sitting there like, why not me? I felt like everybody at The Price is Right that doesn't get picked that has to sit in the audience, you know?
And you've had a complex ever since.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So now it's time for our reviews, reactions, and requests. First up, Jeremy McQueen. I went a few places in my town, a place in Beech Grove, Indiana, now long gone, called Great Times. They had pinball tables of Starship Troopers, Mario Episode 1, The Gateway, Jurassic Park, and Addams Family, plus some arcade games like Title Fight, Air Combat, Suka 8 Hours, NASCAR Arcade, and Star Wars Trilogy Arcade, The GOAT. Also, GameWorks Studios, another long gone, with Indy Car Cockpit, Lost World, and Quick and Crash.
Cockpit?
Cockpit.
The cockpit. You want to jump in the cockpit?
I'm sorry for my Great Lakes accent there for cockpit.
Star Wars Trilogy, the arcade, is an amazing experience. The air, the sound, the locking yourself in the cabinet. They had one out at the arcade we went to. Where was it? Seaside at PRGE this year. But unfortunately, that arcade cabinet was down for repair, so I did not get to re-experience.
Lame.
Boo. Very much boo.
Next up, James Anthony Ottoson says, Retro Rewind is great. I've been looking for a similar experience to Arcade Paradise, and this is a good equivalent. There's something oddly soothing about making change while there's a light storm and some nonsense on a TV playing in the background.
I actually went and tried to get Retro Rewind after we recorded. But it's only on Steam right now. It's made me sad.
Yeah. And it's like, I think $19?
15 is what you said last week. But hopefully it gets a port elsewhere.
Did I say $15?
You did.
It's only $15 on Steam.
Yeah.
I know because I edited it.
Okay, well, you edited it?
Edited it.
It's currently on sale right now for $19.90.
Did you lie to us then or now?
I guess I did. I don't know.
The real Donnie G. Liar.
I'm up there with Liar Gamers.
And last up, Sheriff Zach said, this pod better be in DLSS 5 or I can't even.
Can't even what? You want to finish that sentence?
I mean, I think you can tell.
I can't even with you tonight.
He's like, I literally can't. I think you can tell the increased beauty and definition in both the boys' faces tonight.
Do you need more? Do I need to go get my wife's makeup and cake it on so you can have the true DLS?
Yes, I think
experience?
You should. Just because I'm curious what that would look like.
100%.
No.
Yes.
No,
But you
nobody's
just
curious.
offered. We'll wait. Everyone in the
Right.
chat will agree. We will wait for you to come back.
We wanted you to wear nipple tassels. We will wait for makeup.
Right.
They've
That's
been waiting a
easy.
long time.
All right, why don't we go ahead and shout out our patrons?
We couldn't do what we do without the help of our gorgeous patrons. Here are the generous folks supporting Gamers Week on Patreon. The Mad Milkman, Seven Castle Forest, Crunchy Kong, John Metroid, Frank Grande, Love Retro BTW, Steven Sand, Ramboski, Terry Canair, Don't Make Me Pull This Car Over. The best part of waking up is games with coffee. Hybrid Divide, You Fall Before Me, the Let's Play Princess, Lost Shorty, the Pixel Pond family, including Shannon and Luke, and the Skee-Ball Daddy, Zach, aka Old Cluster Nuts, Puzzle Butter, Number One Blue Sick Voice Chan, John Barron, Sassy Sony, Evo Lust, Cyram. Need a little more boing in your dooring? I sure do. Then head to your nearest gas station for some Angry Sasquatch brand mail enhancement pills. Damn it. Mega Retro Man, Game of Troid, Maura D, Michael. Well, that's great. That's just fucking great, man. Now what the are we supposed to do? We're in some real pretty now, man. That's it, man. Game over, man. Game over. What the are we going to do now? What are we going to do? Lakite.
Let's start a fire and sing some songs. Come on, people.
Evo-esque, Bill Tucker, you know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. Fruitcakes, I hate it when my shorts gets twisted. Pickled Pepper. Ducks with Thick Thighs, absolutely the best podcast, a work in progress. Bops and Dugnut, Blues Little Sis, Perler Daddy, Retroblast Pat, and BNT Zillaguy. If you like what you hear today, and we really hope you do, please consider joining us on Patreon. Your support helps cover the cost of producing the show, as well as other cool stuff we'll be doing like prizes and giveaways. You'll also gain access to our bi-weekly patron-only bonus cast called Gamers Week Uncut, Patrons with Benefits. Visit patreon.com/gamersweek or follow the link in the show notes to learn more.
The only music that I was able to find the Folgers jingle without singing on YouTube was from like 1977 or something ridiculous. That's why the quality is so bad.
It still worked, man.
I guess it still works.
All right, so why don't we go ahead and jump into our headlines?
All right. This headline segment is proudly sponsored by Absolutely the Best Podcast, a work in progress. Each episode, George and Zach discuss and rank all the best things. And right now, they're ranking every movie in the Alien vs. Predator connected universe. This week, they've got a trivia question for us. The Thompson Twins Band, most famous for the songs Hold Me Now and Doctor Doctor, has had 11 members over the years. How many of those 11 members had the surname Thompson? Visit them at absolutelythebest.net or follow the link in the show notes.
Hold me now. Whoa. Hold my heart.
My cold and tiny heart.
Stay with me.
Well, you have saved me the trouble of looking up the song. So thank you.
So I think it's just like a ZZ Top thing, right? Where one of the beards is real, one of the beards is fake, and the guy who doesn't have a beard is the drummer, and his last name is Beard.
His last name is Beard?
So what's your answer?
0. The answer is 0.
I could have sworn, I know I thought there might have been at least 2 with the name Thompson.
With the name Twins, yeah.
Yeah, well, that could be like a play on words or something like that. Who knows? I'm going with 2.
Could be about his balls.
For the record, my guess was also 2.
Okay.
The correct answer is 0.
Whoa, Ryan. Okay.
None of them were twins either. The band's name is a reference to the bumbling detectives Thompson and Thompson from the Adventures of Tintin comic series. So I excuse myself because I would never have known that source material.
So, same.
So I feel betrayed, deceived, and lied to. Is there any type of compensation that I can get for this pain and suffering that I've
You
endured?
should probably call JG Wentworth.
Because
At
it's my
877
cash,
cash now.
and I want it. 40 years, man, of deception. Way to go, guys.
All right, first headline up. Epic Games, the multi-billion-dollar corporation behind Fortnite, is laying off more than 1,000 employees. CEO Tim Sweeney blames a downturn in Fortnite engagement for the move, which he attributed to both industry-wide changes and factors unique to Epic. "I'm sorry, we're here again," Sweeney says in a memo to the company, which was also shared with the public. "The downturn in Fortnite engagement that started in 2025 means we're spending significantly more than we're making, and we have to make major cuts to keep the company funded." The news follows a notable price hike for V-Bucks a few weeks ago, which Epic framed as a way for players to help pay the bills. For a mega popular battle royale. Clearly, the publisher figures those bills are still too high. Epic last laid off 830 people in 2023, which represented around 60% of the workforce at the time. Circana senior director Matt Piscatella was quick to note on Blue Sky, Fortnite was played by 35% of PlayStation players and 31% of Xbox players in the US through February of 2026. That made it the biggest game on both platforms for the month, but the engagement downturn is real. The average PS player engaged with Fortnite for 16 hours in the month versus 21 last February, and Xbox players averaged 15 hours versus 19 last February. Piscatella says Sweeney acknowledges that Fortnite remains one of the most successful games in the world, but says the company has had challenges delivering consistent Fortnite magic with every season. Since it's a thing now, I should note that layoffs weren't related to AI. Sweeney also acknowledges to the extent it improves productivity, we want to have as many awesome developers developing great content and tech as we can. I believe that when we turns purple, it smells like rainbow sherbet.
Especially when Tim Sweeney is the one who's been espousing that games shouldn't be required to disclose their AI use because eventually every game will have AI in it. So why bother? That's a ridiculous rule. But I think I will start this discussion by saying I don't play Fortnite, as evidenced by the fact that when I tweeted about it earlier today, I misspelled it and was called out immediately.
You spelled it like how English people talk about Wimbledon. They're like, "Oh yes, we're going to play tennis over a fortnight."
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And so I don't play Fortnite. I don't think either of you guys do either.
I have played it. I wouldn't say that I play it.
Yeah, I have not played Fortnite in a long time, in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Although your Switch always pops up with Donnie is playing Fortnite, but pretty sure it's your kids.
It's my youngest son who logs in with my account on the Switch to play Fortnite on his account. So it's weird, but yes, I don't play Fortnite.
Yeah.
Donnie, you can admit it too. We're okay. This is a safe space.
That is great, but no, I do not.
The question that immediately comes to mind is, this is one of the most successful games on the planet, the highest played game on both PlayStation and Xbox, which implies it beat even Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
And they are not making enough money and have to lay off people. How damn high are your expenses?
Well, don't they have like a million different tie-ins from other IPs that I'm sure they're paying out the you-know-what for?
Licenses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So all of those have to come from somewhere. They're not getting them for free. Like, it's not like you can play as the Terminator and the studio's like, "Oh yeah, just throw it in there. That's cool.
Go and take it."
Right? If you're going to use their licensing, you're going to pay out for it. So maybe, just maybe we didn't have to get all the new skins for every character in every cinematic universe, and that maybe we could have saved 1,000 people's jobs. Just saying.
That was my next question is, given that Fortnite is a free-to-play game,
mm-hmm.
the downturn in hours is not the real problem. It is probably the downturn in user spending, which would be the real issue. So T-Ken says in the chat, "I've heard the past several seasons have been littered with bugs that make it almost unplayable at times. I bet that didn't help."
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's a multitude of reasons about why this is actually happening. But out of curiosity, I did do some homework because, as I said, I clearly don't know hardly anything about Fortnite, or Fork and Knife, as Sheriff Snack says in the chat. But this debuted in 2017, and within the first year was making $125 million per month, generated $9 billion in gross revenue up until December 2019. It's 2026 and it's seeing a downturn. Now, whether that downturn is primarily due to external economic forces, which Tim Sweeney doesn't necessarily seem to think so, if the circumstances are unique to Epic. But I also looked at Destiny just out of curiosity because that seemed to have a similar lifespan of being the big thing that everyone was obsessed with. Everybody rushed to copy it. It debuted in 2014 and then experienced a real downturn in 2023 where people just finally got tired of it. So again, from an outside perspective, it seems to me that not every live service game can be World of Warcraft, where it just seems to exist perpetually.
Well, and I think World of Warcraft is different because there's a story to it. What's the story for Fortnite?
There is no story.
I think they have stories with their individual seasons.
Right, and a lot of it is other game modes, right? But like the core gameplay itself is mostly just getting dropped out of a flying bus and killing everybody. Right.
Yeah, like with Warzone has stories, or it had stories. Fortnite, like you said, has stories with every season, every new season. I do applaud Fortnite for trying to make things fresh, continually changing things, seeing how things work, yada, yada, yada. But it's the licensing that I think that is killing that particular brand.
Well, and to your point about that, the licensing is killing that brand because they had to pay so much out of the you-know-what to get it. The return on investment clearly has not been enough. Yes, you need to try to keep something fresh and new, right? But wouldn't they be better served by creating new game mechanics, new modes, new whatever, that were just over the top?
I think they've done that, though.
Yeah, they've done the new game mechanics and everything.
Right. I'm saying going even further into that space and trying to find unique avenues in which they can explore rather than necessarily paying because you get a cool new skin. Yeah, certainly that brings in some revenue, but clearly it's not covering costs.
Right.
So if they hadn't had to pay for all those other things, maybe they could have put more time into development, hired more developers. I don't know. It just seems like the opportunity costs caught up to them.
Frank says, character skins of the Gamers Week podcast crew in Fortnite?
I said we'll deal it for free.
I'm not doing it for free. No. You can give your likeness for free.
Yeah. Ryan will get you can get his skin for free, but our skins, no. You've got to pay. You got to buy the V-Bucks to get the battle pass.
The premium.
To get ours at the very end of the battle pass.
Right.
So I know Call of Duty is actually losing money as well because people are leaving that particular game in masse. Yep. But that was doing the same thing. They were putting in new mechanics. They were putting in licensed IPs. People were eating it up, buying the skins, yada, yada, yada. But I think at some point that just becomes tiring.
Yep.
It's okay. I'm still playing the same game over and over. And yeah, while it's funny to have Roger from American Dad come in and shoot Peter from Family Guy, like, oh, okay. It's just like, how many times can you actually see that and still be entertained?
Yeah. And that was kind of my main question about this. Is this not just like a natural attrition of, especially a game that their main player base was kids, and it's been 9 years?
Yeah,
a lot of those kids are
adults.
not kids anymore. And you just kind of naturally get tired of doing the same thing and going to the same space. You just want something different. You want to move on with your life and with your interests. Same happened with Destiny. Same is happening, like you said, with Warzone and Call of Duty. That was the during the pandemic, but that was 6 years ago. There's only so much time that you can ask people to continue to go back and do the exact same thing over and over and keep giving you all their extra income.
Right.
That's not much of a consolation to the 1,000 people who lost their jobs. But again, just an outside perspective.
Is there an achievement system in Fortnite? I don't remember.
I got nothing.
I think there might be because Call of Duty has something similar, like get 10 headshots from X amount of yards away or meters away or something like that, then you get like a coin or what have you, which they're not going to give us skins away for free. Mostly it's like, if you have these achievements, you get something that you really don't give a shit about.
Right. Something else that you can flex, but is not nearly as much of a flex as spending $19.99 on a skin or something. Dragoon Arc says, what did they pay out for their online concerts? What did Ariana Grande charge them for her concert back in 2021 and others?
Were those concerts free to attend?
I don't remember. I would
say they would have probably made their money back if they charged people V-Bucks to enter.
How embarrassing, though, if they charged people and nobody showed up.
Yeah.
That's a gamble.
I know my kids attended at least one concert.
UFO Before Me says they are free.
Okay. Well, Dux makes a good point. Every game eventually loses its peak player count. WoW still exists, but it's nowhere near as big as what it once was. And I remember 2004, like I started playing that game and it just hit everybody like a ton of bricks. And then I played for 6 years before I was threatened. And then I kind of stopped, and then I went back to it, and it just didn't
threatened
have the same luster. So I was like,
Remember, Ryan, when we were on the last podcast prior to Gamers Week and I
have no such memory of this.
Right. And having Ninja being a recurring joke on the show because everybody just walked around and kissed this blue-haired asshole's ass for reasons that continue to escape me to this day. Mm-hmm. This was a IP that just could not lose 8 years ago. And then I think they maybe are just coming across a hard dose of reality that people just want to move on to something else. Ducks in Disguise says, man, showing up for an empty crowd is rough, but showing up to an empty virtual Fortnite crowd, I'd quit music right there. And Ducks, just so you know, that's how I spelled it on Blue Sky earlier and was called out for it. Apparently that's how old people spell it. Fortnite.
Hey everybody, I'm Dan Fogarty. We got one viewer? Okay.
Next up, a new report says that 77% of the U.S. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth players were age 30 or older, highlighting Square Enix struggle to get young people to care about JRPG series again. This according to Circana's Player Pulse, which states that 62% of U.S. players of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth were age 35 or older. That number goes to 77% if you got 30 plus. To an extent that's to be expected since Final Fantasy is nearly a 40-year-old series.
Wow.
That arguably reached its peak at the turn of the century, but other big historical franchises, such as Zelda, have managed to reinvent themselves and feel fresh for multiple generations of players. While the report doesn't cite reasons why this is the case, Naoki Yoshida, best known as the director and producer of Final Fantasy XIV, thinks the younger generation of gamers encompasses people who grew up naturally accustomed to action-based combat and online competitive play. If that's how the generational divide is framed within Square Enix, it's easy to see why Player Series continues to focus on action-oriented combat and non-RPG genres in its spin-offs. However, it's hard not to wonder if Final Fantasy's failure to cater to its original generation of fans is the real problem here. While its success stories like Baldur's Gate 3 and Claire Obscure Expedition 33 tripled down on old school tastes to build RPGs so wonderful that the core audience of genre fans couldn't help but evangelize them to the world. Final Fantasy, meanwhile, has explicitly tried to court new players by casting the expectations of the older generations aside. See Disicida Delium Final Fantasy, a free-to-play 3v3 mobile game inspired by social media. There's something to be said for boldly reinventing older series, but clearly Square Enix reinventions of its flagship series haven't had its intended effects. I could have told you that.
So is this a complaint that they're not getting enough players to play this game?
The kids are not paying attention to their games, and so they think the series is going to die.
Well, I mean, come on. It's been dying for a while now because you're not doing anything good with it. You're not hitting those home runs like you used to. Like every single iteration, Final Fantasy 2, 3, 6, 7, whatever. They were all home runs. And then you just started mailing it in. And but Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I get it. You want to take that game that was made all blocky and yada, 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 and you want to bring it to today's generation and the graphics and everything. And you can do that, which is great. But the reason why I haven't played it is because you took a game and you broke it up, and now you're saying it comes in 3 parts. You're going to need to pay us $69.99 for each part. I refuse to do that. Otherwise, if you didn't do that, and let's just say you were able to split it onto 2 discs or something, and say we're going to sell this for $89.99. Okay, maybe I would, but because you're greedy, no, thank you.
I mean, I think that's a lot of the problem in what you're just describing is they haven't done anything good with it, which I think is exactly what the article is saying, and that they have been forsaking their bread and butter in the name of trying to entice the younger generations, even though both generations and money spends the same. But Square Enix is enamored with the kids these days. And the second part of that is that I think greed and high expectations on the Final Fantasy VII Remake series are a lot to blame, because even when the first, it's Rebirth, and then what was the second one? I don't know. Anyway,
Rebirth?
Afterbirth?
Afterbirth.
Placenta. They never confirmed it was going to be in 3 parts. They would not confirm how many entries there would be. And so then a lot of people, I think, were understandably hesitant. Like, I don't know if I really want to get into this. I had faith and really wanted it to succeed. And I got like the collector's edition of the first one for Final Fantasy VII and all that. I played it for 3 hours, was bored out of my mind, sold it for something else. But
you sold something?
Yeah. When I truly hate a game or a book, I sell it as soon as I can. That's like my way of like, get out of my house.
Closure.
I remember you vividly saying that you don't resell stuff. You don't sell anything. So.
I am the keeper of the receipts. So
I'm pretty sure you said that you don't care to do that because you don't want to interact with people.
Well, no, I mean, I went to like a game store and just traded it in. I'm not going to post it or anything like that.
So you traded it in. You didn't sell it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Semantics.
Can anybody else feel the spice in the air?
The point being is that they had peaked at the turn of the century, and then they really, really wanted and needed Final Fantasy VII Remake to succeed. And so they said, we're going to put all our eggs in this basket. It hasn't worked out. But though, as Paul said last week, it sold 9 million copies, which is not a failure by any means. Oh. They just needed so much more from it.
So trying to capture Gen Alpha, I'm going to speak in their language. Final Fantasy and Square Enix used to be goated, but now it's cooked. They were looking for it to be Ohio, but now it's Skibbity Toilet.
I don't think anybody's saying Skibbity Toilet anymore.
That was painful, I'm not going to lie.
Well, and you know what? It would have been great is if they bridged the gap between the previous Final Fantasy and this one. So it could be Final Fantasy 6, 7.
Oh, my God. Duck says Cloud lost all his riz, yo. For real, on God. Say less. Puzzle's like, no, please don't. No, Ryan.
So with Zelda, you get the same characters. You know who this is. You know who it is that you're interacting with. Link is going to be your guy. You know that there's going to be Octoroks and that kind of thing. So you have an expectation, but it's about changing the world slightly to have a new experience with that character. Where Final Fantasy, every game is different. So you don't know off the bat whether or not you're going to like it. So for example, I remember switching from 7 to 8 and going, what the fuck is this? This is not 7.
Yeah.
And then going to 9 and being like, this is great. And then realizing, you know what? I probably shouldn't play any more of these games because I don't want to go through that same experience that I went through with 8. But the point being is because there isn't something that ties everybody into it. And I think with the younger generation, we have evangelized that game so much that it probably feels overplayed, right? It's like how I personally don't like the Beatles, part of it is because everyone always told me they were the greatest band of all time. And then I would listen to their music and I'd be like, I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong, but they're not the greatest band of all time, in my opinion.
They're not Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, thank you. Go right here. Yeah. So there's a lot of that too with this younger generation, is they don't want to, it's not cool to do what your parents are doing. You know, we all know that.
Yes. And I think that's a lot that is the same kind of truth that goes back to what we were discussing with Fortnite, even though it's not that old. But yeah, I think it is the rare IP that can span multiple generations. And as it says, Final Fantasy has been around for 40 years. And it cites Zelda as being able to reinvent itself. But let's be honest, Zelda took, technically they were games, but Zelda really took a long hiatus.
Technically they were games.
Technically they were games. We don't need to talk about the Wii games. Zelda took a long hiatus and then came back stronger than ever.
Yeah.
Okay, why would you say long hiatus when they had, when they had games on the GameCube and then they had games on the Wii U? And that's not really that too far in between.
As I said, technically they had games, but it was not like...
Technically they had games, but what Blue's trying to say is they were all until Breath of the Wild came out.
Ryan gets it.
Mm-hmm.
What do we think that Zelda is doing that Final Fantasy is not? They're sticking to the main characters, the main core of characters and the lore, where Final Fantasy, it is just put all of these elements into a bowl. Okay, well, we're going to have medieval content, and we're going to have spaceships, and we're going to have this guy named... The only thing that stays a constant is the guy named Sid. And then,
and in 15, it wasn't even a guy.
Right. The reality is you're trying to tell a brand new story every single time and getting people invested in that.
Not only that, you're getting a new combat style, you're getting a new magic style as well. And, you know, when you go backwards, every single, for the most part, every single iteration, the addition to the battle style or battle types made it better. Right. It improved upon it. The changes to magic improved upon it. Even the visuals, right? Well, all of a sudden in a battle, it went from static images to animated ones. So it was always a step forward until you hit 8 and then had that whole junction and crap that you had to do that I hated. But the point being is that it's just hard to reinvent the wheel every single time and to improve upon. Eventually, you're going to get to the point when you're just making things new to make them new rather than focusing on, is this going to be fun?
Yeah. I mean, they're inventing the wheel, and they're also trying to capture lightning in a bottle every single time, which is basically impossible. But I think whereas Nintendo has tended to focus on, let's make a really excellent game with a wide appeal, Square Enix is really just enamored with getting the younger generations to love them. I think it is coming across as a hello fellow kids scenario.
And the things that they've come out that weren't RPG based have just been trash.
Well,
Alan's Wonderworld.
I forgot about that.
All right. Next up, a new scientific study concludes that post-game depression is real and RPGs are the biggest culprits. Yep. I don't need to read anymore because I know this is a fact. According to a new study in the phenomenon post-game depression, P-GD, is the sense of emptiness that arises after completing a deeply immersive game, resulting in a sense of loss, emptiness, and sadness. The study, published in the January's edition of Current Psychology, was conducted with 373 participants. Prior to this, the most comprehensive insight into this topic thus far had provided by Piotr Klemenzik.
It's actually Piotr Klemek.
He's got to be Polish, is what you're telling me.
Yes, he is.
Yep,
yes.
Yep. who explored the idea back in 2023 and found 4 major aspects related to P-GD. The uniqueness was primarily associated with being on a one-of-a-kind game that pushed boundaries of its genre, or with the riches of its story and characters, making the experience deeply emotional, the paper explains. Some felt the ending came too soon, while others struggled to accept that the game actually concluded, then came to the realization that there would never be another first playthrough, and with it, the feeling that the game could never, ever again invoke the same level of tension, joy, or sadness. These feelings lingered for days, even weeks, resulting in media anhedonia, so like hedonism, so anhedonia. It's the opposite of hedonism. Got it. No other video game or form of entertainment seemed capable of filling the void, so to speak. Now, in its latest research, the paper author concluded that they found the 4-factor version of P-GD to be internally consistent and valid. We observed positive correlations between the intensity of post-game depression and strong depressive symptoms, rumination, and disturbances in emotional processing, as well as the lower well-being. Finally, role-playing games have been revealed to invoke strong post-game depression than other games. As a first generation of video game users transitioned from child to adults, their emotional needs have evolved, the paper adds. Development of more serious, mature video game content reflects this shift in the emotional and psychological demands of an aging player base. So what it's saying is, if you're really mature and you're older than 10, you like RPGs. Got it.
And you're sad when you finish them, I guess.
This phenomenon like also associated with like reading a really good book and then like getting to the end
absolutely.
and just being like,
or watching a great show.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember when I was in middle school and I read It for the first time, I was so ensconced in that universe that I didn't want to go and start reading something else. I was still feeling the effects of everything that I had just experienced. And
really loved those sewer sex scenes, huh?
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Well, in the sewer, they were adults.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were. When they were kids, they were in the
when they were 12.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
I read it a few years ago.
Okay.
I wish you were right. I was reading going, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Anyway, I experienced this not just with books, but with movies, not so much with movies, but with all types of games.
Sure.
Action, adventure, and RPGs, not like a simple puzzle game or anything like that, but anything with a good, rich story that I get invested in, the environment, the people, and the topic, then yes, I feel a little bit of depression once it's over, especially if it doesn't end the way that I want it to.
Sure.
I've gotten this not a ton of times. The strongest time that I can remember was when Buffy the Vampire Slayer ended in the early 2000s.
You were so goth. It's ridiculous.
I know. Well, here's the thing, though. Throughout my high school years, there was like one night a week. You could always count on Buffy being there. And then after 7 seasons or whatever, 5 seasons really is when it ended and was good. And then it kind of limped on for 2 more seasons, but it should have just stayed dead. But it was like, man, now I'm depressed. This has been the anchor of my teenage years, and now it's over.
I can see that.
So I played Chrono Trigger, right? And then like, this is where I thought it was funny because they were talking about how it ends and there's nothing, you can't have the same experience again. But New Game Plus exists.
Not the same, though.
Yeah, I agree. But the point being is that with Chrono Trigger, there was like 13 endings, right? Mm-hmm. And once I finally got to the point in which I achieved all 13 endings, that like at first, I think the reason I was going after that is because I was trying to chase the same experience over and over again. So I would try it, do it a different way, have different characters, you know, in the end. And then after I got to the final one, it was just, there was a like probably a good month where I just felt like I've spent so much time doing this. Like, what do I do now? Mm-hmm. One of the things that I tried to do as an experiment to solve this for myself was writing fan fiction for some of these things, like some of the IPs I really liked. And at first that was fun.
I need this fan fiction.
No, you are not going to get any of my writing. You're
but
right,
I need it, though.
All gone.
I need it. We all need it. Everyone in the chat, you heard it. We all need it.
I mean, I would rather finish my book that I was writing.
Combine them.
All of a sudden, this is weirdly, it just turned into like a Lord of the Rings thing. That's weird. But yeah, that was not a self. That did not work. It actually, I think, ended up making me more depressed.
But I think if you let us read it, it might help.
Make me way more and more depressed after you start making fun of me.
We would never, like Duck says, retro game brews, an erotic life.
As Claire Redfield opened up Mr. X's trench coat, she trembled with absolute lust.
Puzzle says 50 Shades of Ryan. See? The demand is there. Your audience.
I mean, I was legitimately at one point writing a romance novel. Yeah, I had 50 pages plus of that romance novel. And it was, for my credit, pretty darn good.
Publish it.
Moving on.
Publish it.
Eat my ass. Resident Evil Requiem's terrifying new stalker sounds so disturbing because its actor went through 2 jugs of milk, as Capcom wanted a very thick consistency to the actor's spit. The girl in Resident Evil Requiem's scariest enemy, of course. That's a testament to not only Capcom's enemy design, but also Delaney Nicole Gill, who brought the terrifying antagonist to life. At a panel during the MegaCon Orlando 2026, Gill shared the stomach-turning details about her performance. They wanted a very thick consistency to my spit, and they wanted gurgling and clicking and things like that. And I went through 2 jugs of milk to thicken up my spit. I had to lay a towel on my lap because of the way my mouth was arranged. My bottom lip was down and it was dripping into my lap, added Gill. Further demonstration of Capcom's commitment to scaring the ever-loving crap out of us. Various Resident Evil Requiem actors have opened up about experiences in the studio in which Capcom would go to the extreme lengths to elicit convincing performances, with Grace Ashcroft actor Angela Sant'Albano recently sharing that she sometimes worked in almost complete darkness. Meanwhile, Leon Kennedy actor Nicholas Pilates
Pilates.
Pilates.
Nicholas does Pilates.
Recently said that Victor Gideon's actor Anthony Byrne gave such an unnerving performance that the guy who does Pilates would randomly start giggling.
So for everybody who's just listening later, what you really missed was Donnie's disgusted face at the thickened spit part. And Red Ox is in the chat asking if you're gagging yet.
I'm not gagging because that's not disgusting, like somebody spitting.
It's kind of disgusting.
Not as disgusting as the other night's topic, if you want to revisit that.
I did text Ryan afterwards and said, "Are you going to be able to edit this? Because I have concerns."
Don't do it.
I hate milk. And so, like, I can imagine if I was Delaney Nicole Gill, I'd be like, does it have to be milk? Can we negotiate something else?
What if it were chocolate milk?
Still,
Wow.
I really don't like milk.
I think people wouldn't want to be around me after I had 2 gallons of milk.
Same.
Well, it sounds like most of it ended up in her lap.
Yeah, she's spitting it out.
Drooling
but
it
some
out.
of it would some of it later on would be coming out the other end. Yeah, in several different forms.
They would just lock you in your little sound booth and come check on you 2 days later.
No, you know what they would do is they would lock me in that sound booth, and then they would bring another voice actor who had to do like a moan or like a sound, and like just surprise them by having them come in.
Duck says milk was a bad choice. .gif.
I still can't get a copy of this damn game. I stepped foot inside of a GameStop this evening looking for Resident Evil Requiem. They didn't even have it.
Did you shower?
Afterwards?
Right. No, but like during. You guys mind if I head in the back? I know you probably got like a
just walk in with a hazmat suit. But it does kind of make me wonder, like, what other crazy stories from voice actors?
Well, we had Ken Bayless on, and wasn't one of the things that he talked about is he had to speak through like yogurt or something?
Gargling
like
yogurt, yeah.
That's right. Blah, blah.
Sounds like the mud pots at Yellowstone. Blop, 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 blop.
You figure that when she tried out for this part, she must have been able to make pretty consistent gurgling and clicking sounds all on her own. And they're like, you know what would help that? Milk.
Just one more thing. How's your gurgle?
Are you lactose intolerant?
Intolerant, yeah. Prove it.
Are we moving on to our top 3 new releases?
We are moving on to our top 3 new releases for the week.
Marvel Maximum Collection, or MMC for short. PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC. Welcome to the Vault. Limited Run Games is proud to present one of the most comprehensive gatherings of Marvel's early gaming legacy. Featuring every major iteration across arcade, 8-bit, 16-bit, and portable consoles, this collection is a curated journey through the evolution of the 1990s Marvel Universe in pixels. It's more than a game. It's a piece of history, preserved with modern features and bonus content for the ultimate fan. Damon and Baby, or Damon and Baby. PS5.
Because he's Jamaican. Listen, Damon.
Damon and Baby, man. By the beach. PS5, PS4, Switch, and PC. An unlikely pair, an unforgettable journey. Experience a new type of action-adventure featuring a fusion between exploration with an expansive world and highly technical twin-stick shooting. At your home base, power up the Demon King Damon and make purchases. During the exploration phase, defeat enemies to complete each area. The story progresses as you alternate between the 2 phases. Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection. PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. The Mega Man Star Force series is back in the Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection. The series is set in the same parallel universe as the Mega Man Battle Network series, about 200 years afterwards. This collection includes 7 games and additional features like a gallery of illustrations and music. Battle players across the world in each game online, compete for the top title in ranked matches, enjoy low-stakes brawls in casual matches, or fight for fun in friend matches. And based on these illustrious descriptions, Ryan, which one are you going with this week?
So we're going to start with Mega Man Star Force Legacy. So never played a Star Force game. I played Battle Network games. And Mega Man Battle Network to me is not a Mega Man game. It feels like the Bob Hoskins Mario of Mega Man games, you know?
So it's a cult classic Mega Man game.
No, what it is you took Mega Man characters and put them into a game that don't make sense for Mega Man. It's like turn-based tactical combat. Was like, this sucks. I can't. Why am I playing this? I bought one Game Boy game. Like, oh, it's Mega Man. This is going to be awesome. No, not so much. So, gonna pass on that. Damon and Baby. I think it's like the 3rd game I've seen in the last year where it's a large character and a small child being escorted by that. So that seems to be like a trope lately.
We got Pragmata at home.
This one, like, visually reminded me of Zelda Breath of the Wild a little bit, and maybe Tears of the Kingdom a little bit, but not completely. And then, like, at first I thought it was like going to be an open world adventure, and then there appeared to be a bunch. I was confused. That's what I'm trying to say, is I was confused by this. It looked like it was trying to be a lot more than I think it needed to be. But yeah, not going to go with that one. Which Marvel Maximum Collection, I love that you can play the arcade 6-player X-Men game online with friends. That to me almost makes this worth it. But what doesn't make it worth it is where it says, welcome to the Vault, Limited Run Games is proud to present. Once that happens, I'm a nope. Even though I would love to play, first of all, I know so many people who hate limited run. I don't know if I could find 6 friends who would want to play this with me.
Yeah.
So that, it takes away the allure. But that's the only thing I would have been interested in it. Everything else I have a version of. It's similar.
Okay.
So cool. Like I need to freaking play Silver Surfer. No, thank you.
No one needs to play that game.
Right. So it's a big fat goose egg for me this week.
Okay. Blue, what about you?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. I am noping out of everything this week. So Marvel Maximum Collection, I think objectively looks like the best release. And it's kind of a downer week anyway, because most of the releases this week were ports of old games to new systems. But like everybody else, as soon as you see limited run games, you're like, I just can't do it. Maybe if you're like a super Marvel fan and you just don't have these games elsewhere and you need this collection, you might pick up a physical secondhand. So limited run is not getting your money, but that's the only way I could see feeling okay about buying this game. Damon and Baby, it looks cute, looks like it really wants to have like wisps of Ghibli and all that kind of stuff.
I'll give you that.
But I hate twin stick shooters. So if this is describing itself as highly technical twin stick shooting, no thank you. And then Mega Man Star Force Legacy, like that's another thing. They had like a little bit of gameplay in the trailer, but I was like, I don't know what type of game this is. I don't know what the gameplay is.
Right.
Tactical RPG, I guess. But yeah, I've got enough else to play. I will continue with Resident Evil Requiem and say I'm out this week.
Okay.
Donaldo?
I mean, I think I'm right there along with you guys. I don't know what Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection is. I'm looking at the trailer. I'm seeing the gameplay. I see a bunch of isometrics battling stuff. I've never played any game in that specific series. So, or in the Legacy, the Star Force, whatever. I mean, the original Mega Man's, yes, all day, every day, twice on Sunday. I keep going back to those games. But this, I don't know what this is. So I can't say that I'm completely out on it, but I don't really want to. Damon and Baby, yeah, like it looks cute, but no, that's not drawing me in. Marvel Maximum Collection, when I saw it, I was a little hyped. And then again, I saw the limited run games. I'm out on anything limited run games makes. I don't care how pretty they dress it up. I don't care if they come out with a Night Trap extended edition, whatever, where it's with like
boobs.
With boobs, with nudity, and you get to see all the back behind the scenes content. I'm out. I'm never giving limited run games another cent of my money. And Simon Asher makes a great comment about the Marvel Maximum Collection. So every quotes, some restrictions apply, like the Genesis X-Men games, Ultimate Alliances, Spider-Man 4-player arcade. Yeah. Where are those games? So you don't call it a maximum collection if you're not going to include everything. You say it's a big compendium. What's the word? Compendium. You say it's a big compendium of those Marvel games, but you're missing a huge chunk. So I have most of those games sitting on my shelf. I can realistically pick one out, go play it whenever I want. So, and if you don't, guess what? Piracy. There you go.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's what Games with Coffee says in the chat. Whispers, piracy.
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 But 0 for Donnie G.
We asked the patrons this week, of course, what game they would choose. 43% said Marvel Maximum Collection. 0 votes for Damon and Baby. 24% of votes for Mega Man Star Force Collection. And 33% said I'd rather use a toaster as a bath bomb, a.k.a. none.
That's one hell of a bath bomb.
I was feeling feisty this morning.
Wakes you right up. The nice zing. All right, before we move on, let's take a quick break to talk about our sponsor. This segment is proudly sponsored by the Retro Game Club podcast. It's a fantastic, family-friendly retro gaming podcast. In each episode, Rob and a guest pick 2 games to play and discuss, as well as news, interviews, and other topics. Right now, they want to know, what's your favorite pre-2001 Mario game and why? Visit them at retrogameclub.net or follow the link in the show notes.
I bet I know Blues.
Oh?
Mario 3.
Oh.
You're not wrong. Actually, what I had planned to say was Depending on the day you ask me, it's either Mario 3 or it's Super Mario World. And today, I'm honestly feeling Super Mario World. But you ask me tomorrow, it's probably Super Mario 3.
They're two near perfect games, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And in the pantheon of Mario games, they are S tier, let's be honest, as well.
Yeah, Snack says 3. Easy money.
For me, it's Mario World. It captured the magic, still does. Has aged extremely well.
Oh, that's not it. That's Ken Griffey Jr. baseball. No, sorry. I thought I had a copy. Super Mario World. Yes, my choice, hands down, no contest. Super Mario World.
A Queen's
Does
League.
Does Mike Tyson's Punch Out count?
As a Mario game?
Mm-hmm.
Zach did not set parameters. So you're free to spin this how you wish.
Yeah, he's in there ipso facto. It's a Mario game.
Correct.
Well, you can't play as him.
So?
Is that contingent in it being a Mario game?
Mario's in the game.
That's a
He's
good
there
debate.
in every interaction you have. He's there. He's the ref. And by the way, you must be getting paid really well to like be in all those, those matches there.
Simon says Mario All-Stars with World. There you go.
There you go.
Why not both?
Good call out.
From GWP and DNGL Studios, this is Wait Wait Don't Tell Me, the gaming news quiz. I am the text-to-speech voice so powerful, Alexa and Siri are fighting over me Betty and Veronica style. It's so damn hot. And here is your host, Professor Rybread.
Thank you for coming, students. Please take your seats. Welcome back to Professor Rybread's Gaming History. So as I alluded to before, we're going to talk about the enigma of a man that we only know about because of the sunshine law that makes police reports publicly available information while redacting the names of the offenders, therefore resulting in the infamous Florida Man.
Dun, dun, dun.
We're going to have a little fun with our Florida Men today. I grew up a fan of the NPR show Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, a news and comedy game show that had one game in particular I always enjoyed. It involved reading wild descriptions of 3 stories, one of which was true and 2 of which were false, and contestants had to guess the true story. Tonight, we'll be doing just that. But our theme for the evening is seemingly appropriate crossroads between Florida Man and video gaming. So are you ready, Donnie and Blue?
Sure.
We're going to read 3 descriptions, A, B, and C. Once I'm finished, you guys can deliberate as to what your joint answer is together. This isn't a contest.
We have to answer together.
Or at least you can voice your opinion. There is no score. The points don't matter. We'll have a little bit of fun with this.
Horse.
So round 1, our theme is Pokemon. Story number A is, what are Pokemon other than pets? They're loyal, friendly, and are willing to protect you at all costs. That's why we should cut some slack for this Florida man who thought he was using a cheat code by trying to capture a pup from the canine unit by tossing a Pokeball at a policeman's hooray friend. After being chased for several blocks and hiding under a car, the offender threw a plastic Pokeball from his pocket and yelled, "Rin Tin Tin, I choose you." The canine cop ignored the toy, and our Florida man only ended up capturing felony larceny charges. We can only assume that the German Shepherd departed the engagement, barking out, "Smell you later." Story B. Pokemon Go will take you places. Nintendo just never specified it was places you wanted to go, like oncoming traffic. While chasing a shiny Pokemon, this Florida man was willing to go the extra mile, sacrificing life and limb after having said rare Pokemon despawn and disappear while attempting to capture it. He stepped into oncoming traffic, got bumped by a sedan, and needed to see Nurse Joy for a broken arm and a bruised ego. It's fair to say even a hyper potion couldn't heal his pride. And C. Mom, I'm raiding, only works for teenagers and incels that still live in their parents' basement. During a Pokemon Go raid, this Florida man refused to exit his local park because he was in the middle of a battle of epic proportions. Despite the instructions of police, he would not leave the park, exclaiming, "This is a level 5 boss battle," an excuse even Officer Jenny would find weak. The police, borrowing from Pikachu, used Thunderbolt, tasing our Florida man and arresting him. It was super effective. All right.
So one of those is true.
Correct. So is it A, threw a Pokeball at a dog, B, going into oncoming traffic while chasing a rare Pokemon, or C, getting tased at the park because you wouldn't leave during a raid?
They all sound reasonably true. Yeah.
That's the point.
I'd say either B or C.
B or C? Okay.
I want it to be C because I think that's the funniest, but I think it's probably B.
The correct answer is C. Not leaving the park during a raid. So here's what actually happened. Back in 2016, right after the height of Pokemon Go mania, a Florida man refused to leave a public park after hours because he was actively playing the game. When officers told him the park was closed, he argued and refused to comply. Situation escalated. He resisted arrest and was tased and taken into custody. Don't tase me, bro. Round number 2 is Pac-Man. Story number A. Pac-Man is known well for his insatiable hunger as he chomps his way through mazes, even in the face of danger. Most of us would see this as gluttony, but a few see it as inspiration, including this Florida man. Visiting his local grocery store, he decided to reenact the classic arcade game by pulling food off of the shelves, taking a massive bite before moving on to the next culinary target. Approached by store employees, he exclaimed, "I'm clearing pellets." Sadly, the whole ordeal was stopped before any paranormal investigator could be called in to check for ghosts around the store. But you'd be forgiven if you assumed our Florida man was on a power pellet or two. B. Our yellow titular hero is fast and furious with the power to evade the bad guys.
Titular.
Yes.
Titular.
Tactical in nature, Pac-Man knows his environment and can anticipate the next move. Taking inspiration from one of the most well-known arcade heroes after stealing sneakers, this Florida man led police on a chase around several blocks, taking lefts and rights quickly as officers attempted to apprehend him on foot. After 15 minutes, he got winded and was eventually caught. When asked what he was doing, he told them that he had played the arcade game the night before and decided to give it a try, to get some new shoes and make a run for it like Pac-Man. Had he been in better shape, you might have succeeded. And C. With games becoming more immersive these days, everyone is chasing, pun intended, the ability to put yourself in games. This Florida man wasn't exactly looking to live in Pac-Man game, but until his HOA complained about having a Pac-Man arcade machine in his garage, stating it caused a nuisance. In a glorious middle finger to the Karens in his neighborhood, he painted a large Pac-Man on the sides of his car, constructed 7-foot ghosts, and at 3 a.m. waka down the street while painting pellets on the road and erecting ghosts in his lawn. While this didn't end well for him, slapped with several charges for vandalism, we salute his dedication to not accepting this obnoxious game over request.
I like that one.
So our choices are A, which is a gentleman started eating food at his local grocery store in the style of Pac-Man. B, it is a guy who tried to evade the police by basically turning it into a big maze chase. Or C, the guy who gave the middle finger to his HOA in order to keep playing Pac-Man.
I can't imagine Pac-Man in your garage is that loud of a nuisance.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to say that one. I'd say probably A for me.
Okay.
I was also thinking A.
Well, the correct answer is A. Very well.
Hey!
I thought I was going to get you guys with the HOA one. Like, I thought you were going to be like, yes, that has to be it.
In spirit, we both wanted it to be C.
Exactly. So this one comes from a real Florida incident where a man entered a grocery store and began eating food directly off the shelves before paying, taking bites and moving on. He was confronted. He gave bizarre explanations for his behavior and was ultimately arrested for theft and disorderly conduct. Last round is Among Us. Story number A. Among Us introduced a simple but powerful concept. Trust no one. This Florida man took the idea into a gas station, loudly accusing strangers of being sus while demanding they explain their movements. When asked to leave, he doubled down, insisting there was definitely an imposter and that no one was taking this situation seriously. Police were eventually called. While no imposters were found, one suspect was clearly identified and rewarded with a police record. B. Venting is one of the most iconic mechanics in Among Us, allowing imposters to move silently and unseen. This Florida man attempted to recreate that by removing a maintenance grate behind a strip mall and climbing inside. Unfortunately, real-world ventilation systems are far less fast travel and more tight metal tunnels not designed for human ambition. After being stuck and panicking, authorities were called, and when rescued, he reportedly said he thought he could pop out somewhere else. And C, tasks are a core part of Among Us. Simple actions that prove that you're not an imposter. This Florida man took that concept into a retail store, loudly narrating his actions while following customers. I'm doing tasks. I'm clearly doing tasks. He's not doing tasks. He began accusing a specific shopper of faking tasks and refused to leave because the meeting wasn't over. Police were called. He was arrested for disorderly conduct, proving once and again in real life, you don't get voted out, you get escorted out. So, the question is it A, where a guy at a gas station started accusing people of being sus? B, a guy going into a ventilation system in order to pop out somewhere else? Or C, a gentleman who went around claiming that he was doing tasks and accusing others of faking them?
I'm going to say B.
B? Okay.
I was going to also say B, and only because the first answer was C, the second answer was A. Yeah.
6-7.
Let's go with B.
The answer is A. So this one is based on a couple of real incidents that occurred during the peak of Among Us popularity, where people caused disturbances in public by accusing strangers and refusing to leave businesses. In at least one case, police had to intervene after a man escalated a situation by confronting others and creating a scene. No imposters were found, but the problem player was successfully removed.
Yeah, you don't go into a business causing any type of disturbance and expect nothing to happen.
Yeah, but you do if you're on drugs or mentally ill.
Of course. Yeah.
I think a lot of this had to do with drugs.
Yeah.
Right. In Florida, it's not quite known for being the cleanest state.
The cocaína.
Right. And depending on if you're in the south, it's cocaína. If you go to the north, it's a little bit of meth. We cover the whole gamut, if you will. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed a little bit of a wait, don't tell me, and enjoyed some of these crazy stories. But if you are interested in providing or requesting a story on behalf of myself and Gamers Week for a Gaming History 101, email us at gamersweekpodcast@gmail.com, and we might feature your suggestion.
You fall before me says, Donnie Montana, let's go.
Donnie Montana.
Not a cuelo. She love me in the morning.
Well, why don't we go ahead and wrap up this episode? Thank you for listening to episode 205 of Gamers Week Podcast. And a big thank you to the Retro Game Club Podcast, Love Retro BTW, Pixel Pond Production Company, and absolutely the best podcast, A Work in Progress, for sponsoring this episode. Don't forget to check out their links in the show notes. If you want to connect with Gamers Week, follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky at Gamers Week PC. Watch us right here on Twitch at twitch.tv/GamersWeekPodcast, where we will record live every Wednesday at 8:30 Central. Email us at gamersweekpodcast@gmail.com. Visit our merch store at gamers-week-podcast.creator-spring.com. Or if you want to do it the easy way, follow the link in the show notes. And last but not least, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/GamersWeek. Finally, since you made it all the way to the end of the episode, please leave us a rating and a review to let us know how we did. Really do value your feedback. And while you're there, consider subscribing on iTunes, Spotify, or your podcast platform of choice. Tomorrow is Friday, Junior, and I don't have to get up early for swim practice either. So I'm really happy about that.
I was like, who are you calling Junior? Oh, but it's Thursday. Yeah.
Forgive my friend. He's a little slow.
The town's back that way. That does it for us, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back on Monday with some playthrough. Not sure what we're going to play yet, but we will be playing something on Twitch, and then back at it next Wednesday for another live episode. So thank you for stopping in with us and hanging out tonight. Drama free, no streaming, no buffering, nothing like that.
Congratulate us for a technical difficulty free stream.
And you guys have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night, man. Oh, wow. You've had years to work on this in prison.
Oh, it's such a shame I can't use this.
I mean, you can just beep that part out.
Can I ask a serious question, though?
No.
So the parental warning thing, I love it, but I fear that if we list every single thing, we reference orgies, flicking the bean, and like, can't we just say, like, this has adult content? Please listen accordingly.
I mean, that is valid. I had to start doing it like euphemisms for everything because it was getting us, the warning itself was getting us too many explicit ratings.
And I would imagine the warning was also difficult to come up with.
I actually have a tab saved that says penis synonyms. So I don't know. I mean, we added the warning from feedback from parents. So I don't know. We're not a kid show, and it just comes down to that. So it's however you want to sugarcoat it. Okay. I don't know what is the best way to do that.
I mean, you can make a joke out of that if you decided to change it too, and just be like, parental warning. Listen, we get it. This is every show is exactly the same. Let's see how that goes. I mean, if we get a whole bunch of people who say, "Oh, I miss it," then we'll think about.
Yeah, maybe this week I'll just go. Look, it's not a kid show. You know this. Listen at your own risk. I don't know.
Welcome to Gamers Week Uncut.
Welcome to Gamers Week Uncut.
Welcome to Gamers Week Uncut, patrons with benefits. This is the unscripted, patron-only bonus cast with less editing and more dirty jokes. We don't know where the conversation will go, but we're sure it will be weird.
This fish just went right on my nipple, and I'm just like,
I Google Street Fighter 6. The first search result that comes up is people think they can see Ryu's dick in the Street Fighter 6 reveal.
Listen up here, kids. You're not going to want to get one of those VD-STDs things, right? Make it fall off. When you go, grab a pro. You'll be doing it for America.
That was perfect.
If you want to hear weekly episodes of our patron-only bonus cast, join us at patreon.com/gamersweek.